So this video covers where I am so far in modelling Liverpool's Riverside station, and it's this building down here in the bottom right of this photograph. This is the Prince's half dock, this is the Prince's landing stage, and this is Prince's Parade underneath this double canopy here, and this is the station, Riverside station, and it was the terminus for services going out to ocean liners. And if I just have a look inside, if we have a look inside, so this was the occasion of a rail tour back in the, I think back in the 1960s, and you can see that there were 3 tracks. There's actually another track down by the wall there, and quite a complex roof, and a number of aspects to it which are going to take a fair bit of modelling, including all of this sort of brick area. And this is the landing stage itself. These are all the photographs I found online. So you can see here this is a later extension of the station, and here looking at this map we can see here the actual Riverside station itself. So this is the structure which I'm building at the moment, making at the moment, and then this is Prince's Parade, the covered way of Prince's Parade, and then this is a number of gangways going across the actual landing stage, and these are the mooring posts, as you can see labelled here, where the liners would tie up. So this is down here is this is where the route comes down through Waterloo Goods, which I've already modelled, and down through the Docks Estate down to Prince's Dock Station here, and then on down into the station itself, to Riverside station itself. Well, that's just a nice picture of one of the shuttle tanks that operated on the dock estate. So how to model it? Well, it's a complex building, and luckily I was able to get let's just give that texture correction so we can see everything. Luckily I was able to get a floor plan and a couple of profiles, so that got me going on the general size of it. But as you can see, it's really quite complex because there's a lot of roof supports which really need to be modelled, because they give the fine effect of the building. So this is an early version where I've just got the walls done. You'll see here, by the way, that I've had to fudge the ground levels, because in Trainz what I would need to do is to be able to sink the track 4 foot 3 inches into the terrain, and it's not really practical on the layout. So what I've done is, instead of having a horizontal exit from the platform into Prince's Parade, I've just added steps, because passengers would have to drop down 4 foot 3 inches. It's a bit of a simplification, or a bit of a fudge or whatever, but I think it's acceptable. So here we are looking down into Riverside station. Let's go in a bit, and you can just about make out here all this lattice work which I've done. This is an early version, so let's see about a slightly later version. What I did is I found that I needed to split the model up into a number of sections, because the sheer mesh count was enormous. So the roof supports are actually in 3 separate elements, just on their own. Let's have a look at one of those. Let's come down here, Riverside roof trusses. Here we are, first lot of trusses. Just let them load up, and oops, that doesn't look very good, does it? Doing that. Oops, that's left, I think. And it should be front. There we are. So this is one batch of the trusses, completely separate from anything else, and it includes the supports for the smoke arresters, which are linear smoke arresters up in the roof, and also you can see that there are pieces projecting up above the girders, which will support the clerestory, which I've still yet to do. But even this, as you can see, the polygon counter is coming up to 6,000. That's just a third of the roof. So there's going to be 3 of these. You can see there's the 000 origin. And if we come down to Riverside roof, so apart from the building itself, the lower part of the walls, the roof is going to comprise 3 sets of trusses, a smaller version here, and then 2 lots for the main width of the roof. And then when we zoom in, you can see we've got a glazed roof, and I've still got to put the clerestory over the top of part of that glazing here, and you can see here the smoke, curved smoke catches or arresters, whatever they are, curving away. These attachment points, which are going to form part of the base part of the model, are for the gas lamps, and I'll show you one of the gas lamps which I've modelled. Now these would have been from the, let's go down here, there it is, and these were in the station from I think from about 1900 to about 1920, 21, 22, something like that, when they were replaced by looked like they were replaced by globes for a very short time, and then by those rather unpleasant looking electric lamps, which just look like bowls or dinner plates upside down with a electric bulb hanging down from that. So these are much more decorative, I think, and so there's a number of these, but because again the detail is so considerable. These are 1851 polys just for the one lamp. There's 16 lamps, so that would have really 12 lamps, 12, I forget now, but there's quite a few of them. So these are going to be separate models which will be added into the model itself through the config file. And the idea is to create, not just to have the lamps, but also to have a night mode. That's my aim. So if we go down to Riverside Station base element, so this is what I'm calling the base element, which is the walls, everything below the top of the walls. And at the moment I've just got the side arches in. These are the exit arches. Now all of these need to have gates on them. There were sliding wooden doors on them. Some of them I'll just leave closed, and others I'll these ones down here I'll leave open, and that's reflecting one of the photographs that I've got of the station in action. But as you can see, there's still a lot to do here. There's an end wall and the offices and other bits and bobs added in here, and then there's an extension part which comes in down into here, into that area, which sort of springs out. And then I've got a choice of either the original facade or the later, I think about 1930s brick facade built by the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board, and that's probably the one I'm going to do. Even though I've got the old gas lamps inside, I'm cherry picking the elements which I think will look the best. So there we are, still some way off, but and actually it's not a direct part of course of the Liverpool Overhead Railway, so in its essentials it's a bit of the background, as indeed will be the very ornate Prince's Parade, which will come in here, and then the custom shed, booking shed here, and then the gangways over to here, and finally the mooring post with a couple of great big liners tied up to receive passengers. So it will be quite it's quite a project. It's more complicated than, for example, Seaforth Sands station. It's certainly more complicated than Waterloo Goods, because there's so much more to it. I've still got to bring in all the track elements, but you can see here from the track plan that it's 2 platform roads here with a centre release carriage storage line down the middle, and an additional line down here, It appears that these were used, can't quite work out what they were used for, but it could possibly have been for luggage, because they certainly lined up with these large exits here, double door exits, but that's on the landward side, or rather Prince's half dock comes in on this side. Just beyond here is going to be Liverpool Riverside signal box, which I'll do as a separate model, and there's only the one photograph I've got of that, but I'm amazed to even have got that. I'm very appreciative, very thankful that Kyle from Liverpool was able to help me out there. And apparently the original box was, after closure, went to Steamport, but from in Southport, but I don't know what happened to it after that. So if anybody knows of the location of that signal box, or of a similar signal box which would give me more information about how to model it, then I'd certainly appreciate that. So there we are, that's Liverpool Riverside Station for the Liverpool Overhead Railway project, but this is Mersey Docks and Harbour Board's own terminus, right by the transatlantic liners. So I hope that's been of interest. It's just an update as to what's going on with the LOR project. Lots to do. This is a really quite a detailed and complex model to work it all out and to get everything in line without repeating yourself or making mistakes and all this. But all of these columns, for example, are correctly spaced. If we zoom in a bit, you can see there all of these brick columns. This is a white painted brick and a dark black brown painted brick here, all absolutely correct as far as positioning is concerned. So wherever I have been able to find sufficient information, then I've managed to reproduce the actual look of the station fairly accurately. What would be nice would be to bring in some of the LNWR rolling stock, locos and rolling stock that operated, as well as the locos, the carriages, the special carriages for this Atlantic service. I do have some drawings of those, so they may be a possibility for the future. So there we are, that's the conclusion of this video. If you have any questions, queries or comments, please do post them up and I'll aim to answer them. If you want further information about how I go about making these, I'm quite happy to answer queries like that. And if there's any specific aspect of using GMAX that you want help on, then I'll certainly aim to help by posting up a short video just referring to that aspect. But in the meanwhile, that's all there is so far for the Liverpool Overhead Railway project. Watch out for the next update.